Hmm. It's weird. My OBS shows me at like really bad numbers as far as uh, uh, transfer speed and drop frames. This thing says excellent. So dashboard says excellent. I can see that it's choppy. Huh. Sit around for a few minutes. Wow. Ooh, our viewers. How bad is it? I'm looking at my OBS, and down at the bottom, it's like right now it's 955 kilobytes per second. It goes up to like, oh, it's yellow now. 2000. Just goes up and down. Dropped frames 69% dropped frames. So I have no idea how the quality is. All I know yesterday was awesome. I finally I gotta see the Dead Man. Oh, okay, yeah. So you're part of a group that just does nothing but watches us, clips us. Look what he said. Yeah. Well, I think that concept is over. There's a thing where they're like, when you apply to jobs and stuff to corporations, the ones who have like really political sensibilities and stuff, they want to know your social media. Your social media posting could look back bad upon your employer. Guess what? I'm unemployed. If you're the girl, you we'll give this to your employer, dude. Most of the city's unemployed. Like most of the people here are living off of some sort of like pension. Well, do we use the word pension anymore? That's when you work for a private company and then your retirement's paid for by like their things. But they're all that was a crux of Wall Street, the original Oliver Stone movie. They have Wall Street too, still Oliver Stone. But yeah, it was like the airlines, and they use their pension. You're not supposed to use the pension funds for. I don't even know how this stuff works. So they started giving people 401ks. And of course, government workers like me. Well, if I had stayed in the Navy, I would have had my retirement by now. If I had stayed in the Navy, there'd be a lot of other problems right now also. Like one of the big psychological barriers of normalcy was the need to. I don't know if you support family or not. I have no idea if you support family. They're talking about back in the day that we had service members on food stamps. We're their soldiers. We aren't paying our soldiers enough to support their families. Well, in those cases, they're talking about married soldiers with kids and stuff, and because they got paid pretty much the same as a single man, because it's all equal. Well, I had a pops who was growing older, and brothers who were, well, stuck supporting three adult men to start off life with three adult men to support. So that was nice yesterday. Oh, we got you saying the N word. You know how many people say they like we were violating the thing? That's what they said on poll. That they're gonna surprise. They're gonna like release. We'll each have our own like web page that they can go through and they'll see all our sins. See, that's something that we don't have. Is like just watching them all day. Watching you, watching me. Let me see. Let me see in the settings. Mm-hmm. Come on, settings. Where are you? There's a type of. Let me see if I can find it. No. Mm-hmm. Common FPS value. Where there was a thing I changed the other day because it was like, would you like to change this setting into it was a different type of video encoder. Don't know where it is. Settings. Oh well. Yeah. It's like decisions whether to go to the coffee shop. For the past 3 weeks, I've gone to the coffee shop pretty much every day. I used to try to take a day off, at least one day off a week, sometimes two. But this is the only coffee shop, and I go there and I just wait. I was thinking what titles to give this because I really want to be proactive in some stuff. Or not, what's the opposite of, is that the opposite of procrastinate? So I have so 3 days I have three different costumes. Well, like just dress ups. My brother Warren said he was going to be like, I guess he's just going to be the one character. Maybe I will. Maybe we should just use the one. But I have two other things that are really cool. Well, with Odysseus being a relative hit, I got my Halloween costume. My Halloween costume is like just put together. I have like a firefighting helmet, but if you look at it, it looks like one old like the Spartan type or Roman ones. I could glue like a brush to the top of it. It has that type of form to it. So I got the helmet, got this like plastic chess piece from a thrift store. And I don't know. Just whatever I was for Halloween. It looks Spartan. It looks Greek enough. It looks Odyssey enough. Then the other one's real simple. It's from an obscure little young adult fantasy fiction book that local author here has. So it has a really interesting description of the type of clothes that the different elven classes would use. It's a Jada's gift. So that would be a comfy one. If I go in the Roman one, I'll have to throw some. I think to make it like I'd want to throw boots on and walking around all day. I don't know. Well, I got green, so maybe the quality's picking up a bit. It's like really kind of tells you the state of things. You know, when somebody hears 10,000 and it is just like a mind-boggling large amount of money, but we have like billionaires. Not only do we have billionaires, we have trillionaires. Can you imagine that? When we talk about billions, when it's like that's like nothing, and then you see $10,000 and like half the people are salivating. They're, that is so much money. Yeah, yeah. Well, when like 90 when 10% of people have all the money, what are they going to do with it? It's a thing when I was day trading. When I was taking my day trading course, one first thing he says is like the top 10% investors, well, they get the bottom 90%'s money. So that's just the investing game. You want to invest, you want to gamble, and there's other things that we can't sit around and have a polite conversation because you have well, from my experience, that's like those are government contractors, and they'll be you start to talk about cutting people's government money. What's the Matthew principle? Good morning, Kyle. You say you live in Illinois. So for some reason, why I said you want to come, I thought you were in LA and could drive up with other LA people. Sorry, it'd be on you to figure out how to get out there. People don't need my invitation to go to friggin' a Comic Con. Just go. I have like I have a sports collector magazine that I picked up at the library because they have like a lot of just anyway. It's from '95. And what's your concept of rich and poor? See, that's a thing where we have where the philosophy thing really comes in. Are you rich or poor, Kyle? Would you consider because there's no middle anymore. It's rich or poor. Is it a feeling? I'm trying to measure. See that they're when we're guided by jealousy and envy. There's just so many melting brains. Yeah, and one can have no legal tender and be rich because what is legal tender? Like, what is legal tender? Oh yeah, the Constitution says like for the power of print money. Or actually, I'd have to go look at this stuff again. So back in the '80s, when there was a big economic downturn for at least it depends what class you're in, right? It really depends where you are, what's going on. Well, anyway, where my dad was living, the business dried up because there's a legal tender shortage. Well, that's one way to control inflation. But there was a legal tender shortage among the among his he was a carpet cleaner, and well, they're carpet cleaners, plumbers, roofers, painters, um, yes, landscape people, like people who do things for other people, right? The servant class, well, oftentimes the servant class serves each other. And so they use legal tender. Like dentists also are the servant class. Doctors, housekeepers. It's really, I think most of us are in that servant class. So when we talk about rich and poor, aristocracy and peasants, serfs and, well, are serf slaves. So in the economy where we're from, where it's basically all the servant class. It, well, they what they did is they got their own tender. There's a group. It was called ITEX. You know what it was is that people could do things for each other and trade that instead. And so the year before my mom got really sick and died, she had teeth problems, and my dad had put together like he had saved like 2,000 because she had big work to do. She had a lot of well, mouth health is little known, little addressed crisis. It's hard to think clearly when they're shooting pains into your brain. Yeah. Oh, I have one laying around someplace. These. You know where last time I saw these? I was in Fayetteville. I was in Fayetteville, North Carolina, because that's where Fort Bragg. And it's funny because we have a Fort Bragg down here on the West Coast also. I was watching what the morning weather person, the local weather news yesterday at my motel room, and they have the map, and I see like at the bottom left, it was like Fort Bragg near Eureka on the coast. So last time I saw $2 bills, I was in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and some of the guys I was working with, they wanted to go to a strip club. But they, oh, so we go to a strip club, and you up there throwing dollars and stuff, and I ran out of dollars, so I was like, oh, time to go make change. So I go up to the bar with like a couple 20s, or 20. I'm like, need change. They were giving back, and I got $2 bills back as change. That way, instead of giving the stripper $1 in G string and stuff, give her $2. It was like inflation. Because if it's been $1, how long has the standard tip for a stripper been $1? A dollar's not what it used to be, so they're giving out like so they did this thing where it's like now you're going to give like twice as much as you did because it's dollar's worth half of what it used to be. And yet it goes back to working for each other. A short thing with my brother, I was relating the story of when my car broke down because when I was deployed, I had the family car. I was the only one, in like, well, I have a stepmother and she had a car. I mean, it was like it supported my dad and things mostly. He's tried to escape. Just so as my when I talk about my family, I talk about my dad and my two brothers, and I'm the only one who had a car. So when I was deployed, I would leave my car for their use. So my dad's driving my youngest brother to visit our middle brother in San Diego with his girlfriend. A car breaks down. My brother's girlfriend calls her cousin because she's Mexican, and and her cousins, and she's Mexican cousins. Are they legal or not? I don't know. We don't ask those types of questions. So they come out and they fix the car. They drive out because they live in the area. They drive out and they fix the car. Why is it would have been like $200 total bill, probably like $2,000, and it was like a flywheel. But because when they got you, when you have like, oh no, it's emergency. You know, if it's like emergencies, people have to make choices. Well, in this case, we had family. We had our brother's girlfriend's family, and they came out and did it because we're family. So when you're hoarding up your silver certificates, burying gold in the backyard, trying to get like friggin' foreign accounts, and you're just doing nothing but trying to hide, not only hide money, but it's gonna go up, right? You just hold on, it's gonna be so valuable. When the dollar collapses, people are gonna want gold. Actually, I don't know you. Fuck off. That's my attitude on things. You can say you're rich. You can say you're rich. That's fine. So let's try and get back to the place where we do stuff because we're family. I could probably freak Kel out. I haven't got any. I haven't had any texts back. It was just like, yeah, I was so excited to like have a new person to talk to. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember those guys. Yeah, 1,000 Iraqi dinars for $1. 1,000 for $1, and you know what's going to happen? They're going to go up to $4 a dinar. Yet they're gonna match Kuwait's dinars. And then, oh yeah, we have a lot. I have a lot of guys who. Now, do you have the ones with Saddam's face on it or the new ones? I'm assuming you have the new ones. Yeah, yeah. Oh, what is even a purse? Yeah, little pouches to carry things. Yeah, neither did I. Neither did I. It's like the fear of missing out. I don't know why I didn't. I mean, $1. It's like that's a you can invest. Let's see, 1,000 times $4. Oh, that'd be 4,000, right? Yeah, I used to watch King of the Hill. It was back in the day when I had a routine. We had a routine. Like Sunday, Fox Sunday was basically like our family home evening. That was our version of family home evening because that was a consistent that well, especially the well Simpsons premiered the year my mom died, and I think Married with Children. So like those began, and well, we've been watching them ever since. And King of the Hill, I think was on the Fox Sunday lineup for a while. It was like after Simpsons. It was fun. Propane and propane accessories. Yeah, and you know what's funny? That's the stars. They have regular jobs. Yeah, yeah. Hank has a regular job. My brother's well, he's a gas. He deals more. He deals in more than just propane. Still, the working man. The working man who has respect. And of course, like the Dale. I think of all the, I think the characters on there. I think Dale was the most relatable. or he is that his kid doesn't look like him. It's like his and John Redcord is always hanging out. This conspiracy theorist Dale. Hmm. Where's Bracken? Bracken. You worked in an oil field. Wow, for 4 years. Now, did they have a where did you live? How did you live? Did they have trailers for you at the near the oil field? Like I have a San Diego bank account. I'm not San Diego, South Dakota. I have a South Dakota bank account, and one of the things about South Dakota is they had a lot of like the Dakotas had a little oil boom. Yeah, they had an oil boom. And I remember they were like, you want job opportunities? They were paying like for fast food workers like $20 and $15 an hour and stuff. Have you seen the wages they have in North Dakota, South Dakota? I guess North got more of the thing because one of the other things was also you worked in the back end oil field for 4 years. I worked on Camp Roberts for 5. Let's see, February, no, 4. From February 2017 to around April of 2021. So yeah, 4 years. Being in a remote, austere place. Yeah, being away in a remote, austere place, making good money though. However, one of the questions about the oil fields is do they have a hooker park? I've heard that it was really good money for prostitutes that they'd like go out because these guys are making money and nothing to do. And so like we had some issues going on where I was stationed at. They're like, you're banned from there. What's going on? Oh, that's a house of prostitution. You can't go there. Like, why didn't you tell me before? Why didn't anybody tell me that we could go get prostitutes before they banned us from going? Guys, there's a failure in communication. How come nobody told me that we had like we So by the time they ban it, that's when I find out it exists. I didn't know it exists till they ban it. I'm like, what? But yeah, the sex work. That's what a lot of this shit's about. Yeah. Oh, no women. So you had no women? Do you have any problems? Did the guys seem happier when there are no women around? Be honest. Be honest. When there are no women, our minds, like at my job, things didn't really get bad until they started hiring women. Oh, so it wasn't completely men. See, in my department, it was all men. It was all men, and then like we're seeing, then they start hiring women under like the representation programs. Oh man, that's all men. You need to get some female representation, and so we do. And then there's like some stuff people don't want to work with them because they get like HR'd and stuff. And like, well, we'll be nice. It won't happen to me. Then it happens to me. It's like HR'd. It's like the woman gets there and the first thing she does is start complaining about everything. I had one like that. She had a horrible reputation. I was like last stop. I was like last stop for this. She just had such a bad reputation. But however, because I've experienced some things about people poisoning the well, I've shown up with bad reputations, and I'm like, I have a bad reputation on day one. So I work extra hard and like remember that. So I'm as polite, understanding with this female who just got there, and you can tell she has like this like really snappy like anger issue. Well, her first job assignment comes up. I get a phone call, and she's screaming. Or was it a text? No, it was like they were both. But yeah, because it was like we had to WhatsApp text messages, and it was just like ripping. How dare you send me here? They don't have separate female bathroom facilities because it's just the way we live. They had like, and so just the accommodations. It wasn't like up to the standards. And I'm like, that's a remote military, and it was bad. Oh, it was bad. Hmm. Yeah. Now, how would that work? How do you think that would work? Just let's pretend we're in college. We're not on the syllabus. We're just having a free flowing conversation of philosophy as it relates to long term projections. How do you think a society of 95% men would work? Like 19, 19 men for every one woman. How does the traditional family work? How do you have a trad society built around 19 men and one woman? Let's say it's your crash spaceship. Let's say you're colonizing Mars, and you have 19 men and one woman. Do you breed? Have we discussed this? Are we going to breed a civilization out of one woman? Mathematically, it is possible. Mathematically is very possible. However, the men in this situation. I suppose if you have men who can come together and talk about it, like you have one wife to share. Maybe some of them prefer that. That's where the encouragement of like homosexuality comes in. Like, wouldn't it be so wonderful if like 16 of those men were gay couples and weren't fighting over the woman? And Kyle, what happens? What happens if one day oil just stops coming out of the well? What if one day the well just goes dry and everybody there is suddenly, well, I assume you get a paycheck for a while, but what if you were all just unemployed overnight? When I was in my last employment, we were on contracts, and their contracts would be up for renewal, and there'd be rumors because sometimes we didn't know if we were going to have a job. Sometimes there'd be rumors, and people would get real intense because for $150,000 a year to go from $150,000 a year to suddenly you're where I'm living, and even Taco Bell is fully staffed. Yeah, so you're aware. You seem like a mature adult person aware of things. I'm not even trying. What was that? The Piku madman dude that Ruby had on the panel the other night who was working the Michigan oil fields? It was like he got a new job. And like looking at it, it's like, congratulations, because that's stressful. $10,000 a month. However, however, yeah, the economy built around natural resources, and we're down here trying to build an economy over what we can create. That's a true thing. And there are, I'm not even gonna call them studies, but case examples that people who've studied these things can cite, like the boll weevil. I have it on audio someplace. It's a Zig Ziglar, and he tells a story of this Carolina town, probably South Carolina, or maybe it's some other southern place. But they were a cotton town. Their town's economy revolved around cotton and picking cotton, sorting cotton, and weaving. Everything revolved around cotton. And one day, their beetle showed up, who was a predator of cotton, and the boll weevil destroyed their cotton crops, and their economy crashed. And so the town is like really having a hard times, and they start trying to figure out other things to do. Oh, at the end of the story, the town's economy diversifies uh, things other than cotton. Like they start making all these little micro industries everywhere and start their own little thing. And so what happens is the people become so creating their own, like a new economy based on a diversity of trades and crafts, that they became more prosperous or happier. They actually became happier not being enslaved to cotton. And they built a statue to the boll weevil. The boll weevil for setting them free from cotton slavery. My word, not theirs. I remember Twitter. You remember? Well, probably not. If you're a worker, see if you're just coming in from the oil fields. That's the thing about the men and women who've been working the oil fields for the past like 20 years. If you just like if you come in off the oil fields and find out how many people have been just, yeah, this is a new thing. It's called streaming. Yeah, well, there's flax also. Hmm. The fabric of our lives. I like that though. It is. When we tell a story, that could be a good documentary on the evolution of things, where it was like cotton. So in love with cotton. About the one of the theories of why we can't smoke marijuana. I mean, we can now. See, one of the things why marijuana got banned, or hemp got banned, is because somebody had invented a kind of the what Eli Whitney was. They had the machine that like makes it easier to separate the fibers. Well, when they invented that, see, hemp was a big crop, but cotton became easier. It became easier to separate the fibers with this machine, where hemp didn't. And so cotton kind of like became far more popular because it became less expensive, less labor and everything. So when by the time somebody invented a machine that could do that with hemp, well, apparently big cotton made it so we can't farm hemp. Really? I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know. It's funny. It is really interesting because I had been told it was from hemp. Maybe it's 25% hemp. Well, the important thing is it is a proprietary mixture. At least we can agree there's a proprietary mixture of our dollar bills to check for counterfeiting. So we had checked. How would we do that? How? Well, yeah, that's right. They have markers. They have those blue lights. They have all different ways to check for counterfeits. Mm. And of course, cotton is very thirsty. Of course, cotton's very thirsty and also grows in like very hot and humid environments. A lot of people don't want to live in, or at least do outdoor labor in, or work in cotton fields. Yeah, it's like we are we are kind of we are a bit in that kind of elitism where we talk about what kind of these jobs people should go be doing. Yeah, we need to bring cotton back and get people those good cotton jobs. we need to make sure we're doing as much as we can to keep those cotton fields full of labor people. Get off your phone! Get off your phone! Confiscate their phones! Pick that cotton! Is it like dead? Is that Dead Man's Job? How many feeds? How many like PS2 feeds is this? There was a system where we had there is a website where all the different cameras from around the world are anyway to have access to that stuff. It's that's their job to watch the workers in the field and then like how to get us. That's the thing. I have too much money. I don't need to go to back to work. Hmm. Yep. And so that requires sheep farmers. That's why I'm so upset about my bicycle tire. I was gonna go ride my bike up the water treatment plant and see if I couldn't do a tour like Mr. Rogers. See these things we talk about. Now they have, we do a search. If we do a search, yeah, it already exists. But we'll just sit around watching how this stuff works. Like I can watch the freeway. I see trucks going up and down delivering things. There's an economy that's still going on without me doing anything. Without us doing anything. It's just that after this Comic Con, I'll probably have spent over 30% of my available funds that I have to live off of for until something changes. See, once my bank account goes to zero, then you won't see me doing this anymore. I'll be staying outside, like borrowing people's phones just to listen to like one song on YouTube. Just the world will continue, and there I'll be with the other people where time's just frozen, just wandering around. I don't want to go work at a thing. See, I know these people. They just want somebody to rob. They think it's a game. If they think it's funny. Well, I'm gonna go get prod. No, I'm not getting prostitutes. And they're getting mad about that type of stuff. Because those prostitutes, I'm gonna tell you, those prostitutes are probably the new people's polygamous wives. They're probably married to their pimp or their cadet. California, back before 9/11, or right after it made marriage documents secret. Like that secrecy, that's something that's. What do you mean? I have census books full over at the genealogical library. That's what people have done for the documents, even in England. They're supposed to be searchable. I think they're searchable because we get our kind of thing from them. And now they're making like that stuff secret. You can't actually go and look up who's married. Well, I guess they get off the dating market and the prostitution game and such. Like if you knew they were all like married people, just married people showing their pussy on friggin' camera for like for thirsty friggin' workers. I have a chance with that. Oh, yeah. Once we start, and then when we shame them, see that's the thing. We have like prissy freaking prissy men trying to shame men for bad language when we're not shaming them for being sexual degenerates. It's like that's what Dead Man, all these people, H3PO, this entire network of Tim Pool umbrella people. Just all they do is man, you said a bad word. I'm like you're a fucking goy fucker. You refuse to condemn friggin' homosexual sex with teen boys. That's their natural way. You refuse to condemn homosexual sex with minor boys. I have a study that says it's really good. It's like the agents of NAMBLA. I cited NAMBLA on a Daily Kos thing about just hey, Circumcision, no circumcision. Are you gonna have your if you have a boy? Well, actually, now we have cultures that have female circumcision, and I don't even know what that is. Yeah, yeah, Kyle. And you know what I'm offended by? I'm offended by 10-year-old boys getting raped and their rapist not being charged. I'm offended by pregnant 10-year-olds. And well, we still don't know the age of the one who impregnated her. You don't understand, Kyle. The internet and the media make you think the world's all kind of has the same values. Some people are finding out other people's values are way different. Yeah, offended. Offended. I had a dude showing me pictures of a fucking bestiality at a bar. I had a swinger couple who's past their prime, and that's a problem. You know, these people who are just like they're swingers and stuff. Now they're old and disgusting. I have all these old and disgusting, formerly rich people who like that they in that LA party scene, big city party scene, so long, just sex, 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 and now these old decrepit things are up here with their friggin' syphilis brains. Dude, showing me pictures of a woman sucking a dog's dick, licking his balls. You're offended by language, you fucking faggots. You're fucking offended by language when you're sending pictures of their fucking wives having sex with other men, dogs, sending fucking dick pics. That's what I'm talking about. The 19-to-1 ratio, man to woman. Which of these faggots is hiding the woman? Why aren't you sharing, faggot? We're out there working, and you're having a good time demanding more, you fucking dickless faggots! That offends you? Where are our wives? You fucking lying English fucking bastards! You wanna take us on? You sass! You little fucking sassy faggot English! You're illegal aliens! You fucking beggars! Perfect opportunity. Perfect timing for a smoke break. Yeah, offended by language. Offended by language when I have for years people walk up and show me like nude pictures of, well, see, when you mix up the Dans, when you mix up the Dans, like which wife is that? We've been over there working our metaphorical oil fields to support our families. And in the meantime, they all got turned out into sex workers. So yeah, we're at war with Britain. It just hasn't been declared yet because they're trying to. Well, America's splitting, isn't it? Between an aristocracy who demands more. Where? Where's my dinner? Where's my breakfast? Why isn't my breakfast ready yet? Why isn't this place clean? Where's my chauffeur? Hmm. Yes, Kyle. It's a cheating is a known thing. Cheating is like a known thing. I've been on bases before, and like, however, we're not talking about cheating. We're talking about rapes. We're talking about rapes, my dude. My roommate, who has the same name as my cousin, talks about her lifetime of emotional, mental, and physical abuse. What does physical abuse mean to you? So it's like whatever. Who suffers most in war, men or women? Brian acts like he suffered. Brian acts like he's the true victim of war. Or he's a true cause of war. Now instead of like we should ask questions like what causes wars? Hmm. Yeah, well, I'm going as me and my brother are gonna go as Silent Bob and Jay. Although I'll probably talk because well then I'll just be Kevin. But for the part, I'll just stand there and watch Jeff do his dances and like speeches and stuff. But I think it'd be really fun to go as Odysseus. One day as Odysseus, then my Tibetan whatever it'd be called. It's a hoodie and pants made out of hemp. Hmm. I have a book by Tonya Bonka or Bonko somewhere. It's called Army Wives. It was made into a Lifetime television story. Yeah, that's cool. Nothing I can do about it. It's like maybe if the Weather Channel or some like reporters. I wonder if I got that sad life. I could pick up like news stations from there and watch their. I wouldn't understand it. But I could see the pictures and everything. It's like people tell me news all the time that has nothing to do with finding my niece. See, the thing is, in California, under existing California laws, she's too young for sex work or marriage, but that doesn't seem to be stopping a lot of the new people. Well, the new people aided by the old people who don't like our laws. See, it's like we have Jesus, apparently. But that doesn't seem the thing. They just in the Bible seems like the Pharisees operate like Mr. Deadman. Any excuse. Any excuse. What's Jesus doing? Well, somehow he's avoiding the priests. You see priests fining people. This is kind of goes back to the Luther type of stuff. Getting fines, penances. But illiterate people who can't read the law, see, it doesn't matter. Even with 10 commandments, even with only 10 simple laws, only with 10 simple commandments, illiterate people can't read that. And even a literate person like myself hasn't memorized it because that's not my religion. It's a fundamental, it's fundamentally helped develop the society I'm in. Are the food is the food part of the thou shalt not eat pigs? Is that on there? It actually doesn't say pig. It's like talks about their hooves, like the number of things. Interesting, and we're studying and talking about, but we don't have people who want to study. They want money and to go do their thing. That's a real problem. People have their own rules. Well, if it's rules to keep people out of trouble, that's really good. But if they have their own rules that they want to push on other people, that's interesting. So, what's the difference between a cloven hooved animal and a hoof? Is there anything in there against eating horses? Like, I haven't really looked at cow feet and pig's feet to see the difference. Are cows hooven or cloven? Cloven hooves. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. You need to show me examples of it. That's part of education. See, if you want to adopt those, if you want to adopt that, then we need to be educated. See, we have so many. Did you just say words? So I was talking to the Catholic priest up here about like you have to study, you have to pass a test before you convert to Catholicism. You actually have to pass their Catholicism test. Hmm. Okay, what other animals? What other animals have the cloven hooves? It's not just pigs. Yeah, it's a halal kosher thing. Now, what about shellfish? What's shellfish? See, there are more than just pigs. See, they have restriction of more than just pigs. That's what they say is that the Islam's much closer to Judaism. Well, Christians don't have rules. That's the best part. When the only rule like, you got to talk to a Christian, forgive and love thy neighbor. Those are their two rules. Well, their rules love thy neighbor. Okay, cool. Go tell that to my neighbors because we have problems here. Yeah, and the other question is why? Why, Stephen David? That's a great question for a group discussion. Researchers, why? Why did they make this? Why did they make this distinction? Wait, LCW. Are you saying they can eat deer, goat, and cows, or that deer, goat, and cows are cloven hooven animals? See, we have vegans in town. Well, vegetarians. It's like that split. If I've actually like really enjoy a lot of meatless foods. It's the eggs, the cheese, and the milk, though. Oh, interesting. That's really interesting. See, we have so many like just secular Jews. So many they love the identity. So many people who want to take the identity of Jews without actually doing any of this. Just no, this is a great burger. This is too expensive. Why is this so expensive? Man, I want to talk to the manager. Oh, this is when I want my money back and discount. You're anti-Semitic. You think I'm Jewish. I was reading Daily Kosar article a long time ago, or diaries. And some woman, she got her genetic, took a DNA 23andMe or something. She got a 23andMe, and she found she was 6% Jewish. This woman found out that she was 6% Jewish, and her entire world changed. She's Jewish now. Oh, she was so excited not to be a white person. She was like, I'm Jewish. It's like you're 6%, some sort of in the family tree. And it's like, I'm Jewish now. That kind of stuff. She's going to start living her new Jewish life. It's like they have some really great people on there. They've kicked off a lot of the more like, well, Ministry of Truth, Reality Bites. There is a nice little group of people that, well, we're supporting Democrats here. If you say anything against it, if you say anything pro, anything other than, well, whatever, you have a nice little trusted user group like Deadman, in his Daily Kos troll farm, the Daily Trost Co farm, where they all have like 60 accounts posting opinions, like just because they have to show, because the online, it's once you break away from online, the online politically correct agenda and narrative. Yeah, I have very similar. I think I have a very similar thing with with a little sliver of West Africa. I'm all European, and then there's like this little spot over there on the whichever with the Atlantic coast side of Africa. Just a little group there. Just like some little genetics came right from that little place. Yeah, and it changes also. Oh, Foreman. Remember the one drop rule? Remember the one drop rule? Hmm. I was I was 2% Jewish for like 2 weeks. I signed on and it said, and I was looking because numbers change because they continue to do research. Remember, people are migratory. For a long time, people are migratory. They follow game around. They go and they look for food. We didn't start out as farmers. The whole evolution of agriculture, when we study these things, and it began in Mesopotamia. Agriculture, as we know it, began in Mesopotamia in the Fertile Valley. As far as the rest of the world, it's just people wandering around. Hmm. Like the blonde-haired Scythians. There's a group known as the Horse Riders. They didn't leave a whole lot of archaeological records.
See, our archaeology comes from looking at cities and towns, where in the civilizations that arose with writing, they would document them. So there are certain groups of people that we have referenced in other people's history, but we don't have a history of their own. Well, the people who follow them, because this is a group that fought the Persians. There's a part of geography, and I'm just bad at it. I haven't studied a whole lot, but I have studied it, and I do retain some knowledge. And I think Robert Seffer of Atlantean Gardens, there are a lot of videos online we could watch, but we gotta keep up with because the new economic model is just destroy a person and take everything they work for. Why work when you can just take it from somebody else? That's the whole thing. There's no point. See, they don't want to go to do the job. See, they have a contract and they're trying to subcontract. They've been doing subcontracting for so long. Just I'll pay somebody half of what they're paying me. So you go do the job and they get half your money. Or they can go do the job. They don't want to go do the job. See, they just want subcontractors. I saw a number where like the DoD contractors, Pentagon contractors have gone from like there used to be like 1,300 of them, 1,300, maybe 2,500 of them to like 200. So all these little subcontracts that they're giving people, now it's coming all back to the prime. I joked that at work I had like 17 bosses because there were departments that had no employees, and so they would borrow employees from my department. I don't know, man, boss. Why don't you got nobody want to work with you? Until, well, from 17 bosses to that one boss with 17 jobs that nobody's gonna do. You have to go and explain why he has like where all his employees went or where he went. What do they say? When the sailors stop complaining, there's a problem. I'm looking around for a cruise book. Oh, there it is. Mm. Yeah, this one. I think we had our first SA complaint. No, I haven't seen it. I don't really need to. I understand. I understand, Matt. Uh, maybe he's been reported dead. Is that the one? Is that the one who was like reported dead in the river? Have you heard about the Kevin the Stalker drama? Have you heard of Kevin the Stalker drama? Like trying to like still exist? Yeah, I have inside knowledge. You don't want to hang out, talk. I don't really feel like. See, I guess you're hiding from Matt. Are you hiding from Matt? What if I told you I was on Matt's side? That if I find you, who's nicer? I mean, Matt's a nice guy, right? So Kevin the Stalker was going crazy because his girlfriend roommate was schizophrenic, and so the communication was, should I date? Should I be smashing? Should I bring girls over to my room and be smashing? Or did she want to get married? Because when we're raising a kid together, and like, it is very confusing. It was very confusing. So on Christmas, right after Christmas, she brought. I thought we were gonna have a conversation about what direction our relationship was going. Yeah, it was like 2 days after Christmas, 2 or 3 days, and we were gonna have a movie night. Because the kid was over at her dad's house, or her dad's or her grandpa's house. So the kid wasn't there. We were gonna have a movie night, and just the two of us. Something ended up happening because she was a drug dealer. I mean, she's that's just. I don't know if she charged for weed or just gave it away for free. Anyway, she had a lot of weed to move, and people coming over and showing her new strains of weed. Like, so there were just people in the apartment, and then maybe one day, it wasn't weed they were smoking; it was something else. It's like little methamphetamine and stuff. So living with a person who obviously has addiction problems and other things, I left, but I wanted to return. See, my furniture was still in the apartment. See, I paid for furniture to furnish an apartment. And well, there were drug dealers there. See, she had friends that were drug dealers. She bought drugs from drug dealers first. And so there was just that going around. And then the cucking, then bringing a guy over when I was gonna try to have a conversation of like, what do you want to do? We have a child. This child is very, very attached to me. I'm her daddy. I'm reading her bedtime stories and tucking her in. We're going to the park and McDonald's. This kid's really attached to me, bitch. But you're not acting like you want to be like a family, the way I know a family. So things exploded because she cucked me for Christmas, let me know I wasn't good enough, all that kind of stuff. What a fool I was. So I left, but I left my furniture and I left my Nordic track. And so I went to South America for 2.5 months, and I came back. It was her birthday time, and I left a note on her door, say, "Hey, I've come back from Peru. I'm calmed down. I'm not as angry as I was because I got really angry. This bitch acts like she wants me to marry her and stuff, and then there's another dude that she takes into her bedroom. What's that? Yeah, it's a joke, right, Eric? Right, Mr. Deadman? It's a joke. There's other things. Oh yeah, that's right. I want to fillet the Russian mob enforcer that she's married to. Oh, it gets crazy, dude. It gets crazy when these Russian mob when the Russian mob like it plants a woman in your house to spy on you and shit. It gets crazy. But I'm military, and so these fucking faggots want to go to war. We're going to war. We're going to war, Vishnevsky. See, one thing I don't know if they're as fat as the fucking Ukrainian Vidmans. I don't know if they're as fucking fat and disgusting as weird as the Vidmans. But yeah, basically, we're going for real Americans who have real American knowledge, who've done things for this country, and we're gonna go after those. Well, no, we're not going after anybody, Matt. That's the thing. We need to stalk each other. We need to find each other. See if Drew Mars Sandpiper Productions. If Nikki is in fact Austin's wife, then it might get very bad for you, Drew. Remember how you got your ass kicked at the gas station? You might want to go hang out with Howard Hughes. You might want to go hang out with Howard Hughes, pretty boys. between Steve Colbert. Wait, John Oliver's not American, huh? I'm just thinking of all the funny white guys who are still like kings of Hollywood, like that used up Jimmy Kimmel and bits and bits and bits. Jimmy Kimmel and bits and bits and bits. Maybe your dog food. Well, don't fall off the razor blade, man. That would hurt. You fucking take a razor blade up your fucking nuts. Are you correcting? Are you correcting people's behavior? Well, I'm here. We have come here from England to. You are so offensive. Oh my pearls! That's what we have. I have my cousins. They've come over to fucking correct me. Mm-hmm. Grandma Wales. Grandma Wales from Wells is Welsh. Grandma Wales from Wells is Welsh. My mama said I'm a prince. Is that true, gobbledygookish? Did you find a long lost prince? Are you also a prince, gobbledygookish? Oh, King Henry VIII, I am King Henry VIII, I am King Henry VIII, I am Henry VIII, I am. because it's very difficult when I'm with people of such obviously non-intellectual class. Oh, you're a pearl salesman. So you want some Japanese pearl divers? Yeah, you're a salesman. You can't have the jewelry without the Jews. Jewelry. Oh, I need to buy that from you in order to show my love to a whore? Come closer. Are they Hassan's pearls? Is Hassan selling me his pearls? Is he that hard up for money? Or is it Wake Wilder? Oh, Wake. I told you. You want me to go get the stick? Everything. Everything is porn brain. Everything is fucking porn brain. Everything is an innuendo with these people. See, they sell sex. And all of a sudden, a lot of men who are like just milk toast on it, the porn. I've been a porn enjoyer. It kind of kept me like it was a way to get my frustration out. You had to talk about regrets and stuff, and like maybe I shouldn't have masturbated in my room so much. Yeah, well, I was already a socially ostracized. Like I didn't understand. I had no idea how like just. I think. Oh, anyway. So I have a story. It was one of those things where it hurt me to hurt my brother. Like we didn't. It was just words. He was calling me pizza face. I had bad acne, and he was calling me pizza face. And then one thing led to another. Oh wait, the other thing, I got really mad because it was hurt. Like because I had self-esteem, I had all these problems, and here my little brother is picking on me. I'm like get picked on in school, and I come home and I get picked on by my little brother. So I got really mad, and then he started calling me roid rage. He started saying I was on steroids. Well, there are people on my football team, and I had left my football team. I'd quit. Like I didn't. It was one of those spur of the moments. I would have stayed. Like I almost went, but I was too much. I had too much pride and stuff to go back. And it was. I was in class, and this fat, stupid, fucking freaky dude who looks a lot like Az just had to make a scene to shame me, to humiliate me in front of these in front of girls because there was a pretty girl who liked me, and as soon as he found out, he had to come and like humiliate me. So that afternoon, I just said, "Fuck it." He's like, it's like this fat fucking delusional thing. No, I mean, sultans when you have 50 wives, I don't know if they're that jealous of things. It's a different culture. I was thinking about that on my porch on my little smoke break, and I was thinking of Game of Thrones. Well, there's Theon, and if you read the books, it's not mentioned. I don't think it's in the movie because it'd be interesting dialogue or something to work in. Well, anyway, remember the Miller's wife? So there's a thing where Theon really he burns two peasant kids alive and just shows off their bodies because he's lost the Stark kids. He had gone to Winterfell and he had Brandon and Reckon. Yeah, it was Brandon and Reckon. And so they escape, and he freaks out because he's told everybody he has the prisoners, and so he goes to this. He goes to these millers, the kind of the bakers, uh, and and he kills them and burns their children alive. Now in the books, there's a callback where the young Prince Theo, because he's a ladies. It opens up with his favorite prostitute leaving for King's Landing. Like him and Rob, they're like just good best of friends. And this girl, this prostitute, she's leaving for King's Landing, and she's going in a cart. She's showing Theon her pussy and stuff because that was his favorite one, right? So Theon's a young prince who's like a ladies' prince. Well, in the book, there's a thing where apparently Prince Theon also had his way with the miller's wife. Like he's a prince. He can have all the women. So you might have to do some research. Somebody who's with the knowledge of lore, that he killed, like that the woman he killed is also a woman that he would have sex with. Then he killed her children. And then there's the Bolton. Very interesting about the Lord Bolton, because that's where we get, is it King's Knight or King's Right? Nobody could get married without getting approval of the Lord. Lord Bolton has his land that was bequeathed, not bequeathed, because king has to be alive. Anyway, his land it's all the king's land or whatever. Anyway, important thing is he has his domain. He's the lord of the land. And in order for peasants to get married, they have to go to him and get approval. Well, there's a thing where he has the right to have sex with the woman first. Like the king has first dibs. So that's one of I guess is why people want to take the woman over to Lord Bolton, and like, oh, I like her. Anyway, the king has the right to have sex with the woman, uh, or just approve the marriage, and it's whatever. Still, you have to go to Lord Bolton if you're in Lord Bolton's property to get married. There is a guy who didn't. That's where Ramsay's origin story comes. He finds out a baker got married without his authorization, and so he hung him. So he had the husband hung, and then he had sex with. Then he raped the wife and impregnated her with a, well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure he knew it was a possibility. So yeah, but they got married without permission. And so I was just thinking of that because I don't know. I don't remember if it's addressed why Lord Bolton doesn't have a wife. Like, why doesn't Lord Bolton not have a wife? I guess that's why he like people. How does this peasant have a wife? How does this peasant have a girlfriend? And Lord Bolton doesn't. Permission to get married. Now potential Comic-Con attendees. I don't see why we can't have entertaining work. Representative American Plays. Arthur Hobson Quinn, 5th edition, The Century Co. From 1767 to the present. American Plays. Preface to the 5th edition. The preparation of a new edition has led to several notable additions and substitutions of plays. Foremost among these is the publication for the first time in any form of Margaret Fleming by James A. Hearn. The only manuscript of this play, one of the landmarks in the development of American realism, was destroyed by fire in 1909. But it has been recreated from memory by Mrs. Hearn, who acted Margaret Fleming and who has generously permitted the editor to have the honor of being the first to make the drama available to students of our stage. In order to keep the volume truly representative, 2 contemporary plays of distinction, The Silver Cord by Mr. Sidney Howard and Paris Bound by Mr. Philip Berry, have been added. Another important change has been the substitution of The Girl with the Green Eyes, one of the best plays of Clyde Fitch, for her great match, Witches of Less Significance. When the first edition was issued in 1917, the publishers of the memorial edition of Clyde Fitch would not permit the reprinting of any play included in that collection. This prohibition has now been removed with certain limitations so that it is possible to represent Fitch at the height of his achievement. These additions have made it necessary to omit, with regret, The Triumphant Plattsburgh by Richard Penn Smith and Leonora by Julia Ward Howell, which, while of historical importance, have proved to be least practicable for detailed study. When this book was published in 1917, it was the first attempt to include in one collection a series of plays which illustrated the development of our native drama from its beginning to the present day. No other branch of our native literature has been so inaccessible. The work of the elder playwrights is still preserved largely in rare editions or in manuscript, and even that of the newer generation has frequently remained unpublished through considerations of a nature which fortunately obtain less and less as the real significance of our drama is becoming better appreciated. Fortunately, conditions are improving radically, so that today practically every play of importance is published as soon as it is produced. Several collections of plays, in addition, have followed the publication of this one, so that the body of American drama available for study is becoming rapidly more adequate. In selecting the plays for this anthology, the first consideration obviously was that they should have been written by Native Americans. The only exception to this principle of selection has been made in the case of Dion Boucicault, who is so significant in force in our dramatic history that his inclusion seemed necessary. At the outset also, it was determined that no play should be selected which had not had actual stage representation by a professional company. The closest drama is interesting in its place, but its significance is slight compared to that of the acted play. The consideration, for example, determined the exclusion of the satiric plays of the Revolution, as there is no certain evidence that they were performed even by amateurs. Preference has been given to the plays dealing with native themes, 21 of the 28 plays being laid in this country, while in one of the others American characters appear. Care has been taken also to include, so far as possible, the principal types of plays into which our drama has run, so that if the book is used in connection with the course of lectures upon the American drama, the material will be at hand to illustrate its development. The comparison of the plays with the background of war, Andre, Shenandoah, Secret Service, and Sun Up, or of the social comedies, The Contrast, Fashion, The Girl with the Green Eyes, The New York Idea, and Paris Bound, will be found most interesting, while a contrast between The Prince of Parthia and Francesca da Rimini will illustrate the growth in the field of romantic tragedy where our earlier drama scored so many triumphs. No play, however, has been chosen simply for its interest as a type. All have had to justify themselves on the score of their intrinsic excellence, and the difficulty has been to choose among the wealth of material. Before each play, a brief introduction explains its significance, and it gives a biographical sketch of the author, together with necessary information concerning his plays. No pains have been spared to make these introductions accurate, and the editor has fortunately had at his disposal not only the usual histories of the theater, but also manuscript sources such as The Bird and Boker Papers and the Diary of William Wood, the manager of the Chestnut Street Theater in Philadelphia, as well as the printed sources that are included in the Clothier Collection of American Plays in the Library of the University of Pennsylvania. In the cases of the modern plays, the information has been checked in nearly every case by the playwrights themselves. In each of the introductions, a selected bibliography has been given. It has seemed unnecessary to cumber with these long lists of magazine articles of a fugitive character, but it is hoped that the reference given will be found helpful. A general bibliography of books relating to the American drama has been placed at the end of the volume. Here again, the publication of the new edition has made it possible to bring up to date the references to the work of living playwrights, either by added notes or, where necessary, by a complete rewriting of the introductions. Revivals of the older plays, which are becoming more frequent, have also been noted. In each introduction, the source of the text is given where it was possible to obtain acting versions of the older texts. The differences between these and the reading versions have been indicated. In general, where emendations have been made, they have been included in square brackets. The spelling has followed that of the original text, and the stage directions have been reprinted in the older plays as originally given. Several of the modern plays have been revised by the authors, and their wishes have naturally been followed as to the text and stage directions. Some slight alterations have been made even here for the sake of uniformity, and where the preparation of the text has fallen upon the editor alone, he has tried to present the stage directions in a readable form according to modern standards of technique. Many friends have helped in the preparation of this volume. Of primary importance was the establishment, through the generosity of Mr. Morris L. Clothier, of the Library of American Plays, which bears his name. The continued interest of its donor in the collection, and the establishment of a fund by the editor's classmates for the purchase of books in this field have been a degree of service that is difficult to measure. Special acknowledgments are made in the separate introductions to those who have aided in the cases of individual plays. Valuable suggestions concerning the sources of the older plays were made by my colleagues, Professor J.P. W. Crawford and Professor Arthur C. Howland. And here too should be acknowledged the generous help in collation of texts and preparation of bibliography rendered in the original publication by Dr. John L. Haney, Dr. A.C. Baugh, Dr. F.A. Laurie, Dr. Clement Faust, and in this last revision by my daughter. The greatest help of all, however, came from her to whom this book is dedicated, and for whose service there can be no adequate acknowledgment. AHQ, University of Pennsylvania, April 1930. So yes, this is the first play. Well, this is 1776 to the present. It was when the colonists decided that they wanted their own plays with their own actors. So why are these important? The Prince of Parthia is the first play written by an American. Oh, first play written by an American to be performed in America by a professional company of actors. I'll guide you. What does it mean to be a professional company? It was written by Thomas Godfrey, born December 4, 1736, in Philadelphia, the son of Thomas Godfrey, the inventor of the sea quadrant. I have such a good from like when I started. What is a sea quadrant? Oh, interesting. According to his biographer, he was educated at, quote, an English school, unquote, in that city. He was also a pupil of William Smith, provost of the College of Philadelphia, and had as companions Benjamin West and Francis Hopkinson, the first original poet-composer in the colonies. Having been released from his indentures to a watchmaker, he became in 1758 a lieutenant in the Pennsylvania militia for the expedition against Fort Duquesne. The next year, he accepted a position as a factor in North Carolina, where he stayed for 3 years and where he brought to completion the Prince of Parthia. I suppose a long time ago, people would be more familiar with what the expedition against Fort Duquesne. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's gonna be Wikipedia. It makes sense. Just such a huge resource. Fort was established by the French in 1754 at the confluence of the Allegheny and Monongahela rivers. It was later taken over by the British and later the Americans and developed as Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. Fort Duquesne was destroyed by the French before its British conquest during the 7 Years' War known as the French and Indian War on the North American front. British replaced it, building Fort Pitt. Suppose the war in the Americas has been going on longer than the Revolutionary War. Godfrey had probably seen the American company act in Philadelphia in 1754 when, owing to the opposition to the theater, the actors had been forced to play in a warehouse belonging to William Plumstead, one of the trustees of the college on Water Street. Being a pupil of William Smith, Godfrey had almost certainly attended the benefit which the American company gave for the charity school of the college. June 19, 1754. He may have offered the play to David Douglas, the manager of the reorganized American company. David Douglas. As early as 1759, but it was not acted until after Godfrey's death. He died August 3, 1763 in North Carolina, and The Prince of Parthia, together with his other poems, was published in 1765 by his friend Nathaniel Evans with an account of Godfrey. The play was produced on April 24, 1767, according to the following advertisement, which appeared in number 1272 of the Pennsylvania Journal and the Weekly Advertiser. Thursday, April 23, 1776. By authority never performed before by the American Company at the New Theater in Southwark on Friday the 24th of April will be presented a tragedy written by the late ingenious Mr. Thomas Godfrey of this city called The Prince of Parthia. The principal characters by Mr. Hallam, Mr. Douglas, Mr. Wall, Mr. Morris, Mr. Ellen, Mr. Tomlinson, Mr. Broadbelt, Mr. Gravel, Mrs. Douglas, Mrs. Morris, Miss Wainwright, and a Miss Cheer, to which will be added a ballad opera called Contrivances, to begin at exactly 7 o'clock, Vivint Rex and Regina. Sailhamer, in his History of the American Theater, suggests a probable cast based on the advertisement, which he curiously attributes to the Pennsylvania Chronicle, in which it does not appear. Considering the relative importance of the actors in the American company, it is likely that this cast is correct, and is given here with the indication that is only problematical. A similar advertisement without the actors' names appeared in the Pennsylvania Gazette of the same date. Problematical. The Prince of Parthia was revived by the Zalosophic Society of the University of Pennsylvania on March 26, 1915, at the New Century Drawing Room, Philadelphia, and proved to be an actable play, though the absence of any comedy element was noticeable. The play shows clearly the influence of Hamlet, Julius Caesar, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, and also of Beaumont's Maid's Tragedy. But the blank verse is flexible, dignified, and the correspondence of Godfrey proves that he conceived it with the purpose of actual stage representation, and not merely as a closet play. For an account of Godfrey, see Juvenile Poems on Various Subjects with the Prince of Parthia by Nathaniel Evans, Philadelphia, 1765. And for criticism of the play, see Moses Coit Tyler, A History of American Literature During the Colonial Times, 2 vols, New York, 1878, Volume 2, pages 244 to 251, and George O. Sailhamer's History of the American Theater, 3 volumes, Philadelphia, 1888, Volume 1, Chapter 18. The Prince of Parthia is now reprinted for the first time from the original edition of 1765. Note to second edition. A very interesting reprint of The Prince of Parthia was edited by Archibald Henderson, Boston, 1917. Mr. Henderson has reproduced the costumes worn by the members of the Zalosophic Society at the revival in 1915, has investigated the sources of the play in Parthian history, and has written attractively of the life of Philadelphia and in Wilmington, North Carolina, that surrounded Godfrey. Throughout the history of the Zalosophic Society has produced 2 principal publications, literary magazines called The Critic and the Zalosophic Magazine. Each publication was alternately revived, being defunct throughout the history of Zalo. Oh, Pen and Slavery Project. That's an interesting website. That's getting back and off the social media and just exploring what's on the internet. Not everything is Wikipedia. Wait a second, hold on a second. Oh, the first one wasn't from Wikipedia. Oh my goodness. It's one of those types of searches. The Zalosophic Society was a student literary society that was founded at the University of Pennsylvania in 1829. The files of the Zalosophic Society include information about their founders. Penn student researchers used the Zalosophic Society files to explore the following questions. What was student life like in the early to mid-19th century? What kind of discussions were students having around race and slavery? Who were these students? Yeah, I need to. Well, I mean, it's just okay. Real women don't put respect. I'm sorry. The Sultan sends his. Wait, what happened to the Sultan sends his regards. NDR, the Sultan of Swing. Duquesne, by the way. Yeah, how many sultans do we have? How many sultans are there? Well, if you know your history. So the first one they have here is Prince Parthia. That doesn't sound European at all. It's a real place, right? Let's see. Dramatis Personae. So the cast of characters on the opening night here. Juvenile Poems of Various Subjects with the Prince of Parthia, a tragedy by the late Mr. Thomas Godfrey, Jr. of Philadelphia, to which is prefixed some account of the author and his writings, Poeta Nafcitur non fit hor. Philadelphia, printed by Henry Miller in 2nd Street. And then they have Roman numerals, which we know it was, that's 5, 15? No, 10. I don't know how to read Roman numerals. So, the king, Artabanus, King of Parthia, is performed by Mr. Douglas. Auraces, Verdanes, and Gotarzes. His sons, played by Mr. Holland, Mr. Tomlinson, Mr. Wall. Barzafernes, Lieutenant General under Arsaces, Mr. Allen. Lysias, Fodoretes, Bethus. Lysias and Prethate, officers at court, formed by Mr. Broadbelt, Mr. Gravel. Bethus, a noble captive, played by Mr. Morris. Women, Thermusa, the queen, performed by Mrs. Douglas. Avante, beloved by Arsaces, Miss Cheer. Cleone, her confidante, played by Miss Wainwright. Edessa, attendant on the queen, played by Mrs. Morris. Guards in attendance. Scene, Ctesiphon. Act first. The Prince of Parthia, a tragedy. Act first, Scene 1, the Temple of the Sun. So then they have just the dialogue, and I have no one here to play with. See, that's one of the things I like to play. I like to do just, well, if you're reading script, there's no one here to read their parts. So I'll be all of them. Guitarzes. He comes. Araces comes, my gallant brother. Like shining Mars in all the pomp of conquest, triumphant enters now our joyful gates. Bright victory waits on his glittering car, and shows her favorite to the wondering crowd, while fame exalting sounds the happy name to realms remote, and bids the world admire. Oh, 'tis a glorious day! Let none presume to indulge the tear or wear the gloom of sorrow. This day shall shine in ages yet to come, and grace the Parthian story. Phoretes. Glad Ctesiphon, a large village on the left bank of the Tigris. Oh, it's the Tigris. Is that in? Okay, so it's a glad Ctesiphon pours forth her numbers like a rolling deluge to meet her blooming hero all the ways on either side as far as sight can stretch. Are lined with crowds, and on the lofty walls innumerable multitudes are arranged. On every countenance impatient sate with roving eye before the train appeared. But when they saw the darling of the fates, they rent the air with loud repeated shouts. The mother showed him to her infant son, and taught his lisping tongue to name Auraces. In aged sires whose sounds are scarcely heard, by feeble strength supported, tossed their caps and gave their murmur to the general voice. Guitarzes. The spacious streets which lead up to the temple are strewed with flowers, each with frantic joy. His garland forms and throws it in the way. What pleasure Phrates must swell his bosom to see the prostrate nation all around him, and know he's made them happy to hear them tease the gods to shower their blessings on him. Happy Auraces, fain I imitate thy matchless worth, and be a shining joy. See, I have to say the name of the character whose dialogue I'm reading. But do you understand? Do you understand? It's like I'm like the educational theater. What is Mr. Thomas Godfrey here relating? What kind of knowledge? What kind of knowledge does a person born in 1730 something, educated in this area with, what knowledge did they have of Parthia in a city in a village next to the Tigris River? Is this a story? What is it? It's very important. Well, there was an argument years ago about being a Christian nation, and when it was brought up about America being a Christian nation, is a treaty that Thomas Jefferson helped with the Barbary pirates. And one of the things, because the Barbaries were attacking Christians, and in the treaty, it said that in no way is America a Christian nation. Did we have founders? Did we have founders? Is it possible? I'm just speculating for historical, well, clarification. Is it possible that we had founders who came from Parthia? Glad Ctesiphon pours forth her numbers like a rolling deluge. Those numbers had to go somewhere. Well, is it possible? Is it possible that we have the bloodline of Artabanus? Do we have a Parthian bloodline in America? Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool, Limeys? To find out that there were other kings? Pharetes, what a bright hope is ours, when those dread powers, who rule yon heaven and guide the movements here, shall call your royal father to their joys. In blessed Arsaces every virtue meets. He's generous, brave, and wise and good. His has skill to act and noble fortitude, to face bold danger in the battle firm, and dauntless as a lion fronts his foe. Yet is he swayed by every tender passion, forgiving mercy, gentleness, and love, which speak the hero friend of humankind. Is that just all a waste of time? To sit around a classroom and read these rhymes? Well, you watch movies like Dead Poet Society. Dead Poet or Dead Poets? I was like seeing something, they had the name of it and it says, well, anyway, that is what the elite do, apparently. They sit around and talk and make plays, closet plays. Or is he elite? Or is life hard? What is it? I don't know. All I know is that the UK has offered everyone asylum and benefits. Hey, you put the advertisement out that anybody who goes there gets a house and health care and money. You're the one advertising your generosity to the world. Hmm. Yeah, well, it's like that movie Taken, right? Remember Liam Neeson's daughter was taken by was purchased by a sultan. So yeah, you got the money, you got the bitches, you got the yacht, you got